It is all the rage right now to be talking about the real estate crash that is coming and all the things that are crashing and burning and all that stuff, right? Because people have been calling this for years, all this stuff. So we're going to talk through the facts. What can we see right now? What are the facts pointing to? What's it looking like? What's going on in real estate? Because we need to look at a lot of different avenues of it. So I'm going to talk through that today. I don't like talking about this, but because it's all over social media, all over the news, I'm going to talk about just to give you the information that we can see right now that is just the real information. So we're going to get into it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Real Talk Real Estate. I'm your host, Mark Cannon, local realtor here in the Phoenix area with my home group real estate and owner of the Benchmark Real Estate team. So, as always, is Real Talk Real Estate. We're here to keep it real. We're here to be transparent. I'm just going to try and give you information as I can find it and what's going on. Obviously, most of the people who follow my channel are my clients or potential clients because I'm just trying to give you accurate information. I'm not trying to sell you on anything. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm just going to walk through facts of what we can see. Because the problem is with social media, with the news, everyone wants you to click on their stuff. Everyone wants you to subscribe to them. Everyone wants you to, and why? Because you have to look at motivations. They like, especially like news outlets, people who they are just online content creators. That's how they make money, by you clicking on their stuff, by you watching it, liking it, sharing it. That's how they make money. For me, I don't make money on this. I don't care enough about this. I just do this to be a resource and give information. So I'm going to give you some more information about, is the crash here? All the freak out. I don't think a crash is here. Is it potential? Sure. There's always potential for a crash because if the government gets involved, they could ruin everything and crash it. Sure, 100%. But 0809 was unique in the sense of subprime mortgages and lots of other things that happened. So we are not in that space. We are in a different space. Now I'm going to be doing a video here in a couple weeks, or I'll be releasing a video in a couple weeks on if another crash was to happen, how would it happen? Because listen, I'll entertain it. I'll walk through it. But for right now, we're just talking about, okay, is a crash happening right now? And a lot of people were sharing this thing I'm going to throw up on the screen. So, you can see on the screen here where you can see they're saying, oh, look, the FHA delinquency rates are rising drastically higher than 0809. Well, the problem with this chart is that is for multifamily. Now, what is multifamily? Multifamily is talking about multifamily units. So it is talking about apartments. It is talking about, I almost said condos, not condos. It's almost like quads, like where you have multiple homes next to each other connected. So those type of loans, when we're talking almost like commercial, right? Those are ARMs. They vary in interest rates. You have to refinance them like every, 5-10 years, I think. So that's not my specialty, just gonna be honest with you. It's not, but it's not mortgages. We're not talking about mortgages. So people were out there putting it out there saying these are mortgages. No, it's not. It's not. Sorry, that's multifamily. You just gotta look a little bit closer. It's not that hard. But the big thing I think a lot of people are talking about, which I've heard, again, mixed things. So I'll talk about some of this real quick. There was a Wall Street Journal article back in February that talked about that the government is paying mortgages for millions of Americans on FHA mortgages, which are funded backed mortgages because they're government backed. So there's only two government backed mortgages, VA and FHA. Right. So they're saying that there's all these FHA loans that the government's paying the mortgages and the people can't pay them. And the article, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. They do bring up one thing that I do think is concerning, is that the debt to income ratio is rising for people taking FHA mortgages. Now, a lot of that is because home prices are rising. Because home prices have risen so much, the debt to income ratio is just higher. So that is expected, but also it is concerning because the people who are borrowing these loans aren't putting a whole lot down. So that is concerning that we're giving mortgages to people that may not be able to afford them. And we're going to see some of that data here. But like a lot of the claims that are out there right now is that, the last administration wasn't being honest with us, which is possible, where they were paying 1 million mortgages and they weren't telling us. Okay, I haven't seen anything come out since February, and we're in April now. And for me, I'm going, okay, like if that is true, that is very concerning. If there's 1-2 million homes that are possibly delinquent, not paying their mortgages, yeah, that's really concerning. Because if you flood the market, that is going to be a problem. Because I went online, I asked Grok what a crash would be. And it just, like the best way to put it is it occurs when the supply of homes exceeds demand, leading to falling prices, reduced sales, and increase in foreclosures and distressed properties, where there's just such a drastic increase in inventory, which is what happened in 0809. Different people say, and this is where the crash talk comes out. There's people that call for this every year. There's a crash this year. And it's like, oh my word. Real estate is cyclical, goes up, it goes down. There's going to be corrections in the market. So I expect like right now to be a correction. But a lot of people say, a crash could be 20% or more loss. A lot of people I know in the Case-Shiller home price index, it's looking at like 33% or more loss in equity is a crash. Where like in 0809, there were places that lost 20%. There were places that lost 33%. There were places that lost 50% or more. Like I think here in Arizona, we swung really hard that way and we lost like 50% equity in homes. And so because real estate is local, it's not national. And so it's hard to hear in Arizona because to me, it's kind of funny because you have people freaking out here in Arizona because we have so many homes on the market right now. We've had more homes on the market than we've had since 2014, 2013. So it's one of those that we have 25,000 homes on the market right now. And that's a lot of inventory, and we have very little buyer's demand right now. So we have high supply, low demand, and like anything with supply and demand, I've talked about this for a long time, that means prices are coming down now because we have so much supply and very little demand. People are starting to freak out. Oh, yeah, I'll sell the house. And now a lot of people still have equity in their homes. Unless they bought in the past couple of years, then they probably don't have equity. But if they bought it before 21, they probably have equity in their home, and also depending on how much they put down. But it's one of those that we're starting to see people go, what the crap? But you look in places like New Jersey or Virginia or Ohio, Indiana, I'm talking to realtors out there, they're getting multiple offers on properties. It's different markets out there because real estate's local, it's not national, right? So that Wall Street Journal article is concerning if it's true. If the government was hiding stuff and they're paying people's mortgages, yeah, that's concerning. I haven't seen that stuff yet. Now, I'm going to pull up this chart here for you about FHA delinquencies. So this shows as of December 2024. We're looking at the seasonally adjusted there at the bottom. So it is going up. I'm looking at 90-day delinquencies, right? So there's 30, 60, 90-day delinquencies. And, you look at 30 days, they went down slightly from November to December last year. This breaks down every month. Are the numbers drastically changing? No, they're not drastically changing. They're not drastically rising. And I'll be doing a video where I talk more about this, but if you actually go back and look, last year, those numbers were higher. The year before that, the numbers were higher. So we've actually had some of the foreclosures and the different things like that, the delinquencies. And I got this data from the FHA website. I'm just pulling data that I can see. Based off what I see, the numbers aren't drastically rising. They're rising, sure, those percentages are rising, but it went from 3.6% to 3.8%. That's not a massive jump. So to me, we would need to see different data come out and proven data, not just, I saw a story. Listen, I'd be concerned if the government was hiding and paying off all these mortgages, but I haven't seen proof of that yet. So for me, I'm trying to live in the world of proof and everything like that. So right now, I don't see a crash. I see a correction. Here in Arizona, Florida, and Texas, those 3 states is where everyone moved during COVID. And so we swung high during COVID, and now we're coming back down. All 3 states are correcting right now in prices. We're starting to come down in prices. Are we seeing 10, 20% drops? Not right now. And people say, I see home prices dropping. Well, just because someone lowers the price of their home doesn't mean that their home was worth what they originally had it priced at. Because a lot of people are doing that right now where they're putting the price too high and trying to come down, chase the market, and you don't want to be doing that. That's not a good strategy. So just based on that data and the stories I've seen, I think we're in a correction right now. We're in a correction. We're in a market shift where we're going from, we've been in seller's market for a long time, 11-year run up in prices, where now it's starting to come back down. We're going back to reality. People need to start saving money, stop spending money. I'll be doing other videos on this stuff. If you're thinking about buying or selling, especially selling right now, there's different strategies that are working right now. We need to talk through them. So I hope you'll reach out to me. My information is below. I'm here to help however I can, here to serve. It's real estate through relationships. I'm more worried about the relationship than a transaction. I'm here to do what's best for you. That's my fiduciary duty. So guys, you've been listening to Real Talk Real Estate. I'll catch you next time.